Hey everybody, this is Alyssa Wapanatâhk, who's a student of ours who graduated, has been doing fantastic work out in the world. When she graduated, she made a movie called Boy The Braid, which she wrote and directed, was cast as Tiger Lily in Peter Pan, which is coming out very soon. So just to let you know how cool that is, they did an international search for that character. And then there's an amazing film called Bones of Crows. I heard you were amazing in it, and I can't wait to see it.
Thank you. I think I'll just start way back at the beginning.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I feel like we're in a circle teachings right now or something. Yeah, way back in the beginning. I grew up in a small Métis community called Conklin, Alberta, which is next door to BC. But it's a very, very small community. There was only like 200 people, I think, there while I was growing up. And it was like really hard. It was a really hard life growing up as a First Nations girl in a white world. It was a lot, and I think like a lot of people will look at me now and they'll think all of this fame or the career is like, it's huge and she's done so much, but I just want to start like back there because that's where I came from, and that's like very, very important for me. But like I grew up, like my dad would get us toys from the garbage dump. Like it was that kind of lifestyle. But now it's a lot different. Did a lot of hard work to get to where I am, and I came here. I saw all these pictures, the same pictures that are hung up in here were here when I came to school here. So it's really cool. I feel really weird sitting on this chair.
Should we get you another one?
I'll just stand. But yeah, then after growing up back home, and I discovered my culture. I also didn't grow up with my culture. Just so everybody knows, that's also something that we kind of go through as Native people these days. There was a lot of cultural genocide, and for me, I had to relearn who I was as a person and reconnect with my roots and with my culture, my community. And I did that only when I was 18. I didn't know anything about like my language. My family spoke my language fluently, but nobody ever taught it to the kids. It wasn't like something that they wanted to do. It wasn't gonna help us, is what they thought. Later on down the line, I was going to high school. High school was also a very hard place for me. I didn't succeed in like really anything in high school. I couldn't do the math. I couldn't do the science. It was really tough. But then I found my healthcare aid, which is like what I was doing before acting. And I was helping elderly people on Alzheimer's, dementia. I was caring for them, and that was like my life. I was really happy doing that. I could have died happy just doing that, honestly, because it was really rewarding working with them and just making that connection with the people who are passing on to the next life. It was really beautiful, but then something felt like it was missing for me. I didn't know what it was, but I knew that I had something else that I needed, something else that was meant for me, and that's when I started doing this little modeling class in Edmonton, which brought me out here to Vancouver. I did like this big modeling talent scouting thing, which didn't really lead to anything except for the New Image College booth. Then I came here, I did this 2-year program, and after that I was like thrown in the deep end. It was like everything just exploded for me. I still didn't know what was going on, honestly. I was like, I don't know what this acting thing is. Like, I didn't know that people could make movies. I didn't know anything about it, like directors, camera, like I didn't know anything about that side of things. But when I saw it, I was instantly in love. It was like, I don't know, maybe some of you feel that as well. When you came here, you probably have that same feeling of like, what is this? And like, you really feel like you could develop yourself. And that's how I felt too. I did school, and then I went back home because I was pregnant with my daughter, and she's now 4 years old. And we went back home just to be with ceremony and be with family and to raise her a little bit. And at that point I was graduated. I had all of my books still from school, all my writing and all of the things that I collected from my teachers. I still have it. There was nothing going on. I wasn't getting any roles. I wasn't working. I was a stay-at-home mom, and I was pregnant, and so it was still, I felt like it wasn't working for me, honestly. Like, there was a lot of times where I was like talking to my partner, I was talking to the people around me and saying like, I don't think this is gonna work out. I think I might just have to quit. And then I had this moment with my elder, and he just told me that I had to believe in myself. That was like a crazy thing in my mind where I was like, okay, maybe I should just try to believe in myself a little more. Then after that, it was like almost instantly I booked Peter Pan and Wendy. Yeah, it's so hard to believe for me still. Like it was like magic. It like just happened. And all of these things, and I was still working, and I created the Boy The Braid when my daughter was 3 months old. And after that, I was waiting for the Peter Pan to start because it was COVID at that time as well. So it was like shut down, I think right after they cast me in it, like everything shut down, and then they started back up again about a year later. That was like a bunch of craziness. It was so cool. Yeah, there was a big ship. We filmed that in Burnaby. Walking onto that set, I was so green, in awe of everything again, all over again, just like in schools, like learning everything again. But this time I had my skill set, and I knew that what I had to offer was good, and what I came with was enough, and I had the technique, I had the skill, all of these things from school and from learning and just from keeping that going throughout those years. I did get my first agent out of New Image College. When I was doing the showcase, there was like probably all of the agents were pretty interested in working with me, but when I met Jen, my agent that I still have now, she's been like my rock, like through it all. She's always believed in me. She's also a mom, and she also like, she was just there, and she always would send me like auditions like randomly every now and then, even though I was like really busy with my girl or whatever it was. I was still like doing the auditions, and then yeah, that's how I got Peter Pan, was from her. It was really funny because she actually submitted me for Peter Pan and Wendy. The casting director told them, no, I'm too old. So they didn't send me the audition. So she went to another casting director, and that casting director said, yes, let's do it. So that's how I got cast in it. Like, if Jen like was like, oh, okay, like I wouldn't have been here probably. It was scary at times. I don't know. I saw Jude Law, and his like eyes were like 2 different sizes because of the costume like department did something crazy. And that was scary. I was like, oh my God, he's like a huge actor, and he's like staring at me really creepy. Once you get there, just let it go. Like, once you're there for a reason. It's gonna come out this April 28th, and we get to go to New York and do the whole premiere and everything, so it's really fun. Yeah, get to see it on an actual big screen without like riding across the thing that says property of Disney. I think they like cut out my face, honestly. Yeah, after Peter Pan happened, we also went to, or I did Bones of Crows, and that's all about residential schools and all of that. And that was a really, really heavy film coming off of Disney and then going into that. It was like a lot, but it was a different character, and there was a lot of respect that we all had to pay to the film because it was made on real, true events. And and real life things that happen right now. And that was like, I think they're both the biggest things that I'll probably ever do in my life. And yeah, I don't know. I wanted to come here today just not to talk about like the stuff that I've done already, but to just say that it's possible. Like anything is possible for any of us. It doesn't matter like where you come from, doesn't matter what the color of your skin is, what your gender is. You could do anything you want. And if you just put the hard work into it and you keep going, life comes at you, but you just keep walking through it and you'll be in a new day. There's always a new day, you know, every day. That's why we have the sun, and it shows us that there's a new day every day, that we could try something new, or we could try harder, or, you know, just take a breath and relax into things. When I was going to school here, there was so many times I was telling Phil like that I was literally kicking holes in the wall. Like I was so angry and I was so just lost. Like I felt really lost. Like I had a lot of mental health challenges. I was depressed. I had a bad panic and anxiety attack disorder. I just remember like doing the yoga like portions where we would do the meditations, and I couldn't even do that because I was so afraid to close my eyes in front of people. And like doing all of those things, it was super challenging because of like where I was at, like my own mind, but I kept pushing myself through every single bit of it. And it was like super scary, but it honestly like opened up even more doors like that I had to look at, more doors I had to walk into, and you know, take a look around and be like, what's going on here with myself, with my mental, with my trauma, my history, like what do I need to look at so that I'm more balanced, so that I could be here with everybody and contribute and be kinder even. And like I just had to think about like all of those things. And there was a really big moment where I remember like running out of class one day because I couldn't handle it. Because like when you have anxiety and stuff, your nervous system is out of whack. So I worked with a therapist to deal with that, and I haven't stopped. I keep seeing somebody. Even now, I just had a session a few days ago. Even though I feel completely happy and like I feel really good, but I still work on that because there's a lot more to it than just getting over something. I think life is hard. Like there's so much that life can throw at you, because we're all that we have at the end of the day. Our bodies and our minds and our spirit is extremely important, and I think it goes very, very hand in hand with acting, because when you're putting yourself in a role, you want to have the mobility, the flexibility to be able to move through a character, to be able to mold yourself into another person's shoes and build a character, and to be able to change little things with the director. And when you're on set, like you need to be there in that moment. And I feel like those things, like the mental stuff, could kind of bog you down if you're not working on it. And same thing with your physical self. I think it's just all very important. It's not that you should work on these things to be an actor, but it's more that you should have these things for yourself, and then the acting comes after. But they do work really hand in hand with each other. Work extremely hard. I prepped so hard, and I still do for everything that I do, but especially with my acting roles. I put in so much prep work, and just from class, like every day in class you'll be like studying something. You'll be studying your lines, or you'll be studying the scene, or you'll be studying somebody else doing it. And that's pretty much what I do every single day still. Like I carry that throughout everything. just making sure that you know everything about the scene, everything about the character that you could possibly know. Then you feel ready to go, and then you let that all go, and then you're in the moment and you're in the character. And I don't know, I feel like that's one of the biggest skills that you could have, I think, in life, like just in whatever that you're doing, as long as you're putting every effort you have into it. I think it sounds kind of cliche, it sounds kind of cheap, it's like you need to work hard, but I think like one of the things that I did in class every day was fully absorbed everything that I could learn from my teachers. Like every single teacher had a different thing that they taught, so you could learn so many things from each of them. And that's what I did every single day, was just sit there. I was the first person to stand up in class to do my scenes. I was the first person to, just put myself out there and do whatever I can to, even if I didn't know what I was doing exactly, I still did it. I still did all the necessary steps to, do as good as I can. And I don't know, I think that's probably one of the most important skills that you can have, is just that readiness.
All right.
I hope that was good enough.
It was amazing.